Undersecretary Adoracion Navarro, OIC Undersecretary Jonathan Uy, Assistant Secretary Carlos Abad Santos, Director Reynaldo Cancio, and Assistant Director Dayan Lianto Maharjani. I'm your moderator for today, Nerissa Esguerra of the Development Information Staff. Just a gentle reminder to every participant to follow our Zoom guidelines on your screen. For easier reference, please change your name on display to this format, affiliation plus your real full name. Please make sure your video is on or that you have a profile picture on display. And if you have concerns or issues encountered, please send a private message to any of the following staff through the chat box, OSEC Carla Yu and OSEC Alotan. So today we will tackle the recent results of the Labor Force Survey, inflation and manufacturing numbers, and the We Recover as One report of the Technical Working Group on AFP. Let's all welcome for the speech Acting Secretary Carl Kendrick Chua.
Thank you, Director Neris, colleagues in government, friends from the media, fellow countrymen, good afternoon. Today, the Philippine Statistics Authority released the latest data on 3 economic indicators: consumer price inflation, manufacturing performance, and the employment statistics. The May 20 inflation of 2.1% shows that prices have remained low and stable. A number of reasons explain this. These include the continued implementation of the rice tarification law, which has brought down the price of rice by around 10 pesos per kilo from the 2018 peak. In fact, rice inflation in May was negative 2.7%. Moreover, efforts of the government to improve the supply chain of essential goods, notably food, during the ECQ also helped significantly. The price freeze order to make sure that no unscrupulous trader would take advantage of the crisis also contributed to low inflation. In all these, it was not just the government that made this happen. Producers worked hard to supply goods continuously despite initial challenges. Businesses supported the price freeze order, and consumers cooperated and purchased only what they needed. This is a kind of whole nation approach that will help the country recover faster. Manufacturing and employment numbers are also reported today. Not surprisingly, both figures show the impact of the enhanced community quarantine or ECQ. But let us remember that we have made the difficult decision to implement the ECQ because we resolved to save lives and prioritize the health of our fellow Filipinos, including our family and friends. This decision is proving to be a prudent one. In the May 2020 survey of the SWS, 84% of Filipinos say staying at home to fight COVID-19 is worth it. In June, most areas of the country have transitioned to general community quarantine or GCQ and are on track to see the quarantine lifted in the coming weeks. The preliminary results of the April 2020 Monthly Integrated Survey of Selected Industries, or MISI, show that manufacturing, both volume and value indices, fell significantly. All manufacturing subsectors posted double-digit negative growth in April 2020, given the imposition of community quarantines. As we shift from ECQ to GCQ, we will be seeing improvements in the succeeding months. The results of the April round of the Labor Force Survey shows the impact of the ECQ on the people. In April 2020, some 7.254 million workers were unemployed, or 4.987 million more compared to April of 2019. As a result, the unemployment rate rose from 5.1 to 17.7% in the same period. On the other hand, the underemployment rate, which measures the number of workers who want more work to earn more, also increased from 13.4 to 18.9%. This relatively smaller increase suggests that government support to the people, such as the Social Amelioration Program or SAP, the Conditional Cash Transfer Program, the Rice Subsidy Program, and the Unconditional Cash Transfer Program under the Train Law are working and reaching the people. The economic cost of the quarantines that has helped us buy time to prepare the health sector to contain the spread of COVID-19 is expectedly large. This is why the government has provided and continues to develop measures to enable our health sector to address the pandemic and to help the people and the economy recover and adapt to a new and hopefully better normal. Under Pillar 1 and Pillar 2 of the government strategy to respond to the COVID-19 crisis, some 596 billion pesos have been given or allocated to help the people cope with the crisis, while some 59 billion pesos have been provided to the health sector to fight the virus. The recovery program that we are preparing with Congress right now will provide up to 847 billion pesos more from a combination of fiscal, monetary, and regulatory measures. To mitigate the impact of COVID-19 during the quarantine period, flexible work arrangement, emergency employment programs, and various forms of targeted subsidies have been implemented. For instance, the government has spent around 100 billion pesos for the Social Amelioration Program. As of June 4, 2020, the first tranche of the SAP is 97.1% complete, with around 17.5 million families receiving the emergency subsidy of 5,000 to 8,000 pesos per family per month. Meanwhile, more than 337,000 informal sector workers have benefited from the TUPAD or the Tulong Panghanapbuhay sa Ating Disadvantaged or Displaced Workers. Moreover, the CAMP or the COVID-19 Adjustment Measures Program has served 680,000 affected workers. The Rice Farmer Assistance Program seeks to reach 600,000 beneficiaries. The government has also helped save millions of jobs by providing a wage subsidy to some 3.1 million eligible employees of small businesses under the Small Business Wage Subsidy Program. These employees have already received between 5 to 8,000 pesos in early May, and over 2.5 million employees have also availed of the subsidy for the second tranche. In our work to prepare the recovery program, we have been listening to the people and businesses through our 3 surveys for consumers, for micro, small, medium enterprises, and farmers. In particular, some 44,000 MSMEs who responded told us that they need help in this order. First, deferred payment schemes for taxes, rentals, and utilities. Second, tax discounts and credits. And third, low-interest loans. All these are important inputs that we are taking very seriously as we prepare PH Progreso, or the Philippine Program for Recovery with Equity and Solidarity. This recovery program includes the CREATE, or the Corporate Recovery and Tax Incentives for Enterprises Act, which will address the second most pressing need mentioned by micro, small, and medium enterprises. We will continue to listen to the people and businesses through our regular surveys. We are currently processing the May survey round and will be fielding a 3rd survey in the coming weeks. We ask all businesses and households to take time to answer the survey and share with the government how we can help you. As the government prepares the recovery program, we would like to express our sincerest gratitude to all government workers, businesses, workers, and families who have contributed to our recovery program in their own ways, such as staying at home to keep the virus from spreading, delivering the cash subsidy, ensuring food products and other essentials arrive in the market on time, and taking care and paying workers while ensuring their safety during this very difficult time. The recovery program we are preparing with Congress seeks to improve confidence, raise consumer demand, and increase liquidity for firms. We will prioritize the healthcare sector, the entire food value chain, and restart the most impactful Build program. All these will contribute to job creation, including some 136,000 contact tracers that the DOH intends to have. If people are confident that they are less likely to get sick, or can be taken care of when they become sick, they will go out and work. If food supply is sufficient and they can afford to feed their families, then they will be able to buy other goods and raise domestic demand. Finally, as we restart the Build program, we expect more jobs opportunities directly and indirectly. This can provide an opportunity to help thousands of OFWs who have come home and will need work and our help. Their sacrifices and remittance contribution through the years so that their families and our country can have a better future are most appreciated. As domestic demand increase, we will be able to help firms recover more sustainably. Our recovery program also includes a combination of liquidity infusion to the banking sector so that they can lend more to firms at lower interest rates, credit guarantees by the government to lower risk, wholesale lending by GFIs to help small banks and microfinance help the informal sector, and targeted and conditional equity contribution to strategic enterprises. As the economy gradually settles in the new normal, we will also be preparing our resiliency program to insulate us from future similar crises. Some of the key programs that we are considering to further protect the people are the unemployment insurance or savings account, pension portability, digital delivery of all social protection and subsidies through the national ID, and active labor market programs, job matching, skills upgrading through TESDA, leveraging on digital technology. To facilitate our response to COVID-19 pandemic, NEDA has recently released the We Recover as One report, outlining strategies for transition to a new and better normal. We will also release a resiliency plan that will serve as the updated Philippine Development Plan. Yusek Rose Adilion will be giving the details of this later. In all these, it is very clear that we cannot do this alone. We are counting on our fellow Filipinos to act in the spirit of bayanihan, where we are able to think beyond our own interests and concerns. This is an unprecedented global crisis threatening every nation and all humanity. We may not be all in the same boat, but we are all in the same storm. More than ever, now is a time for us to work together. Through our collective efforts, I believe that we will be able to weather this storm, come out stronger, more resilient, and better prepared to face the future. Thank you and take care always.
Thank you very much, Secretary Carl. We will now proceed to the next part of the briefing. Let us all welcome Yusek Rosemary G. Edilion for the presentation on the We Recover as One report.
Okay. Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to Secretary Carl, to our friends in the media, my colleagues at the NEDA, and also my colleagues at government. Secretariat, may I request that I be able to share my screen? So I'll be sharing with you some of the highlights of the We Recover as One report, as well as our plans for the resiliency plan. So I would like to start with the salient, the highlights of the report of the Technical Working Group on Anticipatory and Forward Planning. So there's actually a dozen of us agencies in this TWG, and it was chaired by the NEDA. And in addition to the members of the TWG, we also actually conducted several consultations and conducted several surveys as well, and of course brainstorming. All these were done, of course, electronically because we were all on quarantine. The task that was given us by the task force, the agency task force on managing emerging infectious diseases, is to provide recommendations to address the loss of business and consumer confidence. And our key recommendation is really to reduce the uncertainty by being able to by providing the right information, addressing the losses experienced during the ECQ, and being able to prepare for the new normal. So, first of all, with respect to providing the right information, if I may share with you, this is actually the dashboard of the DOH during the time that we were preparing the report. So as you can see there, this was accessed March 31st. So this is the kind of information that was available out there. So what we did was actually to conduct consultations, online consultations, and even listening. And we found out that there are a number of questions that are being asked out there for which our kababayans needed answers beyond what are the information being given out by this DOH dashboard. So they want to ask about questions on survival, on first aid measures. Will the government pay for my medical expenses? How do I know who has the virus? And then how do I make sure that I will not get infected? They also have questions about transparency and governance, especially with respect to ano na nangyari dun sa 275 billion na inilaan. And then they're also interested about, what happens next. So, kung halimbawa ililift na yung ECQ, ano naman ang plano ng gobyerno para hindi na muling kumalat ang virus? Makakapasok na ba ang trabaho at eskwelahan? And all the other things. So this one gave us an idea that the range of questions actually encompass several dimensions, and so the recommendation is to be able to provide the public with access to right information, and by right we mean accurate, timely, relevant, and understandable information that will provide answers to their questions regarding health, social, economic, security, and governance. So we actually came up with a first sketch on how we think the dashboard should look like. That there has to be the message there, and we actually propose for the message of "We heal as one." One, because it recognizes that we have a health problem, and two, that there is really that importance of being one, being united, so that we come out of this. And we have here, yes, the general situationer should be there, but there are also other information that must be in the dashboard so that people are aware that they should not be paralyzed by this imposition of the ECQ nor about this COVID-19. So it's actually about them being able to take the steering wheel, so to speak. So it will have information on what you need to know about COVID-19, tulong pangkilasugan, the innovations that are out there. Tapos all the other things that you can still do, like trabaho at negosyo, pwedeng mag-aral kahit may ECQ, the social assistance, and so on. So what the group did next was to design a sample dashboard, and this is what we proposed it would look like. And it's really about, again, the message is that yes, there is the recognition that we have this problem on the COVID-19, but there are many other things that we can do, and we can actually somehow take control of this situation. We also have here a section on be a volunteer. Our idea here is that each and every box here actually links up to a government agency that has a dedicated corner in their website, which pertains to everything that they have been doing at this time of the COVID and at this time of the ECQ. Now, this one is still not operational, but we have already transferred this, actually to turn this over to the PCOO and the DICT. In the coming days, we will be engaging with them more closely so that we can have this up and about. But the piece of good news, though, is that remember that DOH website that I told you about? Now, this is what it looks like now. So again, that message that there's a lot that you can do. Yes, there's that update still on the coronavirus disease, but it already answers those pressing questions of our kababayans ng what they can do. In fact, meron na rin kaagad na helpline. Now, our next recommendation is, in order to address this loss of business and consumer confidence, is we really need to mitigate the loss, especially if some of these losses were made up for by borrowing from relatives and friends. Then that means, nagpatong-patong lang yung kanilang losses, and that will have to be addressed. So for this, we conducted 3 separate surveys. They were conducted from